when you talk about Forex, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? The first thing when I heard about Forex was, okay, it's a $5.2 trillion market. You know, when you say it's a $5.2 trillion market, this means is that someone can say, oh, okay, well, it's a huge market. If it's a huge market, this means that it's bigger than the stock market, right? It's a decentralized market as well. So basically, what happens is when someone starts to learn about Forex, they're told it's a $5.2 trillion market. It's open 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, right? You can make money at any time you want. You can wake up, you can start to make money. You can trade from anywhere in the world. Now, those ideas are very valid, but they're also false because the thing is, when you start to trade, hold on one second here. If people are having issues, okay, awesome. So it's working. Everyone is awesome. Perfect. Right. So continue on. So when you're trading in the sessions, what happens is that you have different sessions that are at your disposal, right? You have your New York, you have your Asian, and London. So basically what happens is now you have to make a mind, now you have to choose which session are you going to focus on. Are you going to focus on in the morning, evening, or late at night? Those things, when we're going to discuss those things, they will play a vital role in your trading plan. So that's going to be very important. As we go along the presentation, we will talk about a lot of rules. Those rules are going to be based off of technicals, based off of psychology as well. So once we're moving through the presentation, sorry, I'm just getting sidetracked with all the chat here on the side. People are trying to come in, but I think, yeah, it's all working fine. There's no issues here. I have a limit of 1,000 people on Zoom, so we're only at 320. Okay. Let's continue on. All right. So first what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the market sessions, right? First of all, you have the Asian session. The Asian session, and then you have the London, and after London, you have the New York session, right? When you're starting trading, you need to first realize that, okay, what time of the day is going to suit you best? Is it going to be in the evening time? Like, if you live in North America, you're going to have evening time, and then you're going to have in the middle of the night, and then you're going to have in the early morning, right? So what I like to do is I like to break them down into smaller times, right? So when you talk about the Asian is divided into pre-Asian and the regular Asian session. Pre-Asian starts from before the Asian Open. This is from 6 p.m. Eastern to 8 p.m. Eastern, right? Let's say someone who works in the morning, and if you only have time to trade in the evening time, then you're going to be looking at pre-Asian to Asian, right? Once the Asian session opens, it starts from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. The reason I'm discussing these specific times, it's because these are the times when there's a lot of volume in the market, right? You want to trade when there's volume in the market. Now, of course, you can say, okay, you know what? Trading happens throughout the day. Like you can sit from 10 p.m. till 1 p.m. and still find trades, but the thing is there's not enough volume. We only come to trading at certain times when there's going to be volume in the market, when it's going to be busy, when there's going to be a lot of things going on, right? So this is going to be the Asian session. If someone's looking to trade Asian sessions, in my opinion, these are the best times to trade. I personally trade from if I will be trading the Asian, I'm going to focus on 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Next, you have the pre-London. Pre-London starts at 1 a.m. till 3 a.m. Eastern. I'm not sure what time it's going to be in the UK or somewhere in Asia, but this is based on the Eastern time zones. Now, pre-London is basically before the London opens, when you see some sort of volume coming in. The reason the sessions are divided into pre and the mid sessions is because you need to look at it from a perspective of, okay, like let's say you go to the bank, right? Let's say you work at a bank or you work at a hedge fund, and in the morning you go to the hedge fund, in the morning you go in and you're like, okay, let's see what happened during the night. Let's see what happened in the London so that we know how to manage our trades in the day moving forward. So that's when there's a lot of volume in the market. As you come into the time when there's 3 a.m. to 5 a.m., this is when the London session opens, and then there's even more volume in the market, right? Because that's the most busiest time in the market. So let's say for someone who only has time to trade at this specific time, this is going to be the best time for you to look at the charts when there's a lot of volume in the market, momentum in the market. Because if you look at the time between 10 p.m. Eastern and 1 a.m. Eastern, there is some sort of volume. You can still find trades, but there's going to be like low quality trades because there's going to be no volume in the market. You're going to notice that I'm going to say volume a lot. I'm going to say certain phrases I'm going to say a lot repeatedly. And I think that's very important to truly understand that you really need some sort of volume, some sort of momentum in the market, some juice in the market so you could get those bigger candles to trade. Now, moving on, you have pre-New York. Pre-New York starts before the New York Open. This is when you have when you go to the futures market, it hasn't opened yet, but you try to see that, okay, what's the futures market doing? Is it negative, positive? So that's what the pre-New York is. Now, normally for me, when I wake up, I have the time to trade between 6 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. That's what suits me best, right? Because if I'm going to look at the London is not going to suit me best because this means I have to wake up in the middle of the night. That's not logically feasible for me. So I focus on the pre-New York till almost until New York open till like 8 a.m., 8:30 a.m. Eastern. One now. After this time, what happens is you have the London close, right? And there's a lot of volume in London close as well. The reason why is because when the market is closing, it's processing the orders that happen throughout the day, and whenever you're processing the orders that happen throughout the day, there's a lot of volume in the market too. So in my opinion, these are the best time frames, best times in the market to look at when you're trying to decide, okay, what time is going to suit you best. Now, let's say if someone says, oh, okay, well, I'm going to start trading from 12 p.m. Eastern onwards to 4 p.m. Eastern. The problem there becomes is now you're trying to trade when the London session is closed. You're trying to trade when the Asian is closed. You're trying to trade when the New York session is the afternoon session. There's not enough volume in the market. At that time, what you might find is there's going to be a lot of consolidation. You might find there's going to be some sort of choppy movement, something you haven't seen before. Like it's not going to be a very good environment to trade. So it's if you want to take pictures of the screen, go ahead. But I think these are the best times to trade if you're looking for solid entries, if you're looking for solid moves. This is very, very important, right? So if you're gonna, I think as we go on, this is going to be a way to create a trading plan as well. So you need to see, okay, what time is going to suit you best, and what time can you dedicate to the markets? Because the thing is, you're not going to be spending more than 3 hours on the chart.